Welcome to another episode of Me, My Old Man, and a Movie. I'm your host, Gannon May, and this is my old man, Ryan. We're here to update you on the most recent theatrical news and provide you with a few movie reviews. So grab some popcorn and join us as we discuss the latest and hopefully greatest Hollywood cast off. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video with me and my dad. And
My old man.
Yeah, my old man. And today,
Yes,
we're going to be discussing Twisters. We're going to be doing a quick review here and then a spoiler review later in the video if you want to stick around for that. But first, let's do a brief synopsis of the film. Haunted by a devastating encounter with a tornado, Kate Cooper gets lured back into the open plains by her friend Javi. To test a groundbreaking new tracking system, she soon crosses paths with Tyler Owens, a charming but reckless social media superstar who thrives on posting his storm-chasing adventures. As storm season intensifies, Kate, Tyler, and their competing teams find themselves in a fight for their lives as multiple systems converge over central Oklahoma. So,
what are we gonna do here?
we're going to be going through some general, what do you call them?
Categories?
Categories
Yeah.
throughout the film, the story, the plot, the acting, characters, direction, cinematography, stuff like that.
Rate those,
Yeah.
and then we'll give an overall
rating.
So
Okay.
let's nail it. What are we gonna start with?
So I think the story and the plot, good start.
Okay.
I like this. I really enjoyed the story of the two competing teams being playful competing rather than in the original they were like villain versus good guy. And I liked kind of the playful competition between the two teams going for the tornado in this one a lot.
All right. So I have why are they in competition? Here, like in this film, you've got like these scientists that are chasing the storm, and then you have these YouTubers that are chasing the storm.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like I thought it's like Mr. Beast versus CNN. Like what? Like in what world would those two be like? We got to get to the storm before you. Like they're not in competition, right? So like that I was lost a little bit on that part.
Yeah, I think later in the story, I feel like they kind of explain that, but that's kind of a spoilerish territory.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to get into that too much, but I think there's an explanation there.
I did find that I was enjoying the YouTube scenes the most. Like I felt like those were, and maybe that's more directing as I'm thinking about it. Like
they were very accurate. I mean, just look at what we're doing right now.
Right.
Very accurate.
Right. It's a storm. Like so, yeah, that's probably more directing. So I'll save that for there. But here's the thing: we watched the original Twister today, and right before we came to see this one, and I found myself comparing the two right out of the gate, and that was a tough comparison because I felt like there were so many nods to the original, and I it almost got in the way. It almost felt like they were trying to replicate something that stood well on its own. So I'll just say it for that as far as story and plot.
Yeah.
I like the original better. I like yeah. I don't know.
Can't say I like the original better.
I know.
And maybe that's nostalgia for you because I don't have the nostalgia.
I know. Well, so the backstory of that for us is, as we were telling Gannon, my wife and I, that was our first film that we ever saw together in the theater. So that's a high bar, right? To live up to. All right.
See, I don't have that nostalgia, so I can say this film's
you
better.
You were a gleam in the eye. Yeah. All right. So you got anything else with that?
I gave the story and the plot a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 tornadoes?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 twisters. 9 out of 10
twisters. 9 out of 10 twisters.
9 out of 10 twisters.
I gave it 5. Listen, it's just it didn't compare. It's probably not its fault that I did this, but I didn't like the comparison. I mean the competition between the two. I felt that was a bit clunky, and I didn't feel like the story. I didn't feel it was a compelling enough story for me to kind of drive like what motivated her and into doing the things that she was doing. It just didn't carry the same weight. I'm sorry. All right. Let's move on. Acting, characters.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Let's move on to characters, acting. I thought the characters were fun. Like I thought the characters were like really fun to watch on screen. I thought they had great chemistry.
Here we go again. All right, this is the old man part of me. They were too young.
Oh,
Seriously, like I'm serious. Like
come on.
these are scientists that are like 20 years old. I don't even like what? Like no. How do they what? No, no. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. No.
You can learn a lot when you're young, you know.
No, I no. No. I will there was okay, so and here's the thing for me with this. I felt like I didn't get into the characters until three-fourths of the way in. There was a scene toward the end where the whole storyline kind of shifts. Don't want to give anything away, but two main characters are together. And at that point, I felt like I was watching a different movie. Really, from that point forward, it was like, oh, they should have just like taken this part of the script and remade the whole first, like retrofit this thing. Like I wish somebody would have just talked to them at the beginning and said, you know what? Again, this is me because you seem to like it. But like if they would just took that ending and say, it's a really good ending. Let's reimagine how we get to this point. Uh, Not trying to be the original film, but doing its own thing, I think would have been
See,
great.
it kind of taking a lot from the original film is actually what I liked about the very beginning of the film, because I liked the original film and I wanted to see more of that with modern graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
So the very beginning of the film showing off the modern graphics and visual effects and stuff with the original's similar story, I actually really enjoyed that.
The problem to me, it felt like, and this is going to sound weird because these were two movies. I felt like the first was the book and this was the movie. You ever hear that? Like the book versus the movie, and the book has so much more detail and the book's like so much deeper and the character, and the movie just kind of throws it all at you real fast. And that's what I felt like. I felt like they were trying to like cram all these nods in. And then you're like, wait, no, we're already at that point in the film? Wait, that was like three-fourths of the way into the first one, and now we're there like a quarter of the way into this one. Like I feel like they were just trying to do too much to try to pay homage to the original. No, stop, just stop. I give it a 5.
Oh my gosh!
Again.
I gave it a 10.
Oh my gosh!
I thought the characters were a blast.
Perfect characters. Wow!
I thought they were great.
Okay, you're entitled to be wrong. I'm just kidding. No,
come on.
Fine. No.
Okay.
All right,
this is
directing.
ridiculous.
Let's go into directing.
Okay, I thought a lot of the one of the shots of the tornado very early on in the film, where it pulled through, but you could kind of see the path of where it went and stuff. I thought that shot looked really, really cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shots where they were in the car, and a lot of the YouTube shots, I thought were done really, really well. And it looked just like just a video that you'd be just recording as crazy stuff's going on. Like it looked very believable.
Yeah.
That would actually be something that would happen.
They captured the YouTube stuff well. What I'm waiting is for the YouTube version of this film that I can watch at home for 10 minutes, and then I've got the whole gist of it. So directing, I don't know. Like I from what I understand, this is kind of a departure from this director's original. Like I researched him. He's done some other films, but like apparently, I don't know. Like what I was reading is he's done a lot of more character-driven stuff. So I don't know why he jumped into this adventure film. I think I read that he as a kid liked the original Twister, so maybe there was some thing there. But no, I mean, see, I'm jumping here, but like I talked about how he tried to give the nods to the original up under acting. That belongs in here, directing, right? That was his choice, and the writing, of course. So I think that was a mistake. I think he would have been better off to do the original. We're going to talk about music and sound here in a minute, but again, these are his decisions, right? What music bed he lays behind there and stuff. And I felt like the music. All right, we'll get there. I'll save it. I'm just going to say directing. All right, I'll bounce. I got 6. I'm stick with it. 6. It's okay. I'll go 7. I'm going to raise it. It's going to raise my average, but I'm going to raise it to a 7.
I had 10. for it. But as I was thinking about it more and more, I think I'm going to lower it down to a 9. But I still think it was real. I thought a lot of the shots looked really good, and I thought that they did a really good job with the YouTube and all of that. I thought it was
Yeah,
really
it was
fun.
good. I think the YouTube saved it for me. Okay, all right.
Let's move on to writing. This was part of the movie for me that I think was not near as good as it should have been, or it was rough.
Good.
There
I'm
were
glad we
some
agree.
lines that I was like, nah,
Yes.
that was bad.
Yep.
Um,
Uh, anything else
one
on
thing
that?
that
Go
I
ahead.
actually liked about the writing was it felt like it explained the science of tornadoes. Like even though I didn't understand some of the words that they were
I
saying.
don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Some of the words I didn't understand, but I got like the way that they were kind of going about saying them. I kind of understood what they meant
You're
by
like,
it.
that sounds right. That sounds right to me. I thought there was at the end. There's like toward the end. There's that dialogue with. I think Glenn Powell has a part where he just kind of explains some stuff at the end, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounded really intelligent. Like I don't know if that's legit, but that sounded legit.
Yeah.
And that may be his acting, but like
Yeah.
it sold it. And I think the
Mhm.
writing, that was good. Like to think through that piece of like how this could make whatever do what it's supposed to do. I think that worked.
Mhm.
I thought there was some character inconsistency for me in the writing. Like um, main character, this girl, like at times I found myself saying, okay, is she brave or is she scared? And this isn't like she was like well rounded and she was like there was depth to her and she was both. You could say that, but like it didn't come across that way. It came across to me as more like just bad acting. But I think it was just a part of the writing. It had to be in the writing of this is how this is how she's feeling, what she's doing, and so like, and maybe even the directing. I don't know, but like there was a disconnect there. Is she scared? Is she brave? Is she the best, or has she not been at this in a while? Like there were just some points, and if you've seen it, you'll start to see like just it didn't flow for me.
There were things I didn't really
Yeah.
like.
So okay. So you go ahead. Gave it how many twisters?
I gave it 6 twisters.
I gave it 4.
I don't think it was that
I
bad.
know. I'm feeling bad now. I'm feeling bad about my ratings already. But all right. Anyway, let's move on because now it gets better for me from here.
Yeah. This is where cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the movie looked awesome.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of the shots where they were shooting like at the clouds, they really made the clouds really dark and intimidating, and the tornadoes were just really like they looked very good. Like the coloring on them was amazing. Like I thought it was great.
Yeah. So like I think there's this can't be easy to do, right? To shoot these I know a lot of it's CG, but I'm just saying like to make it look like they made it look to where they sell the fact that they're like in these storms. That's just incredible. It never felt cheap to me. There was one shot. I think where it was like the train was coming toward him.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that.
that didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
There was something about that was off. But
Yeah, I got that too.
outside of that, everything else worked well. Yeah, as far as the look of the film. So I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 9.
Yeah, I'm always going to be under you on everything today. But all right. Let's do special effects there because they're kind of tied together. I guess let's hit that and we'll flip it.
Yeah, I mean the tornadoes looked awesome. I love the cloud structure when they showed like over the tornado and the clouds, especially at the end. The clouds are like going into the tornado and stuff, and they're puffing out everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that looked really really cool. Like I thought that was a really cool.
Yeah.
And it didn't look cheap.
So there's another nod to the original where she is in the storm. You know what I'm talking about? And she looks up, and that's in the original too. There's this thing where they look up inside of it, and I just like that. I will say, in the original, I was like, that didn't look real, but in this one, I thought it looked pretty good. So I think cinematography. There was something else with cinematography. I want to go back real quick. There was a scene where they're in a movie theater, and I like that look. Like, I don't want to give away what happens in the scene, but there's like, pay attention to that ending if you go, because there's like really cool look to that. I'll save it for the what's this called, the
Spoilers?
spoiler part. That way I can talk more about it. Okay, all right, go on.
Okay,
So what'd you rate the special effects?
I gave the special effects a 10.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a 9. I was way up there. Like, again, this is to do what they're doing. This is why they made the movie, right? At the end of the day, let's just put twisters on the screen. That'll look great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Music and sound. I thought the score was really, really good. It really captured that kind of like.
No, go on. Tell more.
Oh, man.
Talk. Go. It's fine.
It really captured that like intimidating, scary kind of action feel. And there's a lot of country music in it between scenes. As they kind of flip in between scenes, there's a lot of country music, and I thought they had some good song choices.
Okay, so I'm going to differentiate. The songs were good. The score stunk to me.
Here we go again.
It was all over the place. I was like, am I watching a fairy tale movie? Am I watching a comedy? Am I watching there was no consistency. There was definitely no theme other than the country songs, but like the music, here's what I thought. This, all they did was they went and got royalty free music. Like, I felt like the score was just royalty free music. I'm like, what is this that I'm listening to? I don't know.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 twisters.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit a thing there right there. Look, it's like, all right, you've
What'd
been
you
out of
give
focus. I'm sorry. We're trying to perfect the cinematography look. I gave music and sound a 7.
I give it an 8. So pretty close.
All right. So
overall rating 8.8.
8.8, and I've got 6 point, and I'm gonna go with, because I raised the 1, I'm gonna just round this up, 6.5 for me. So that's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
The cinematography, special effects, some of the music, I probably ranked that a little higher than I really think it was worth, but I think redeemed it in the end.
My expectations going into this film were very much like Godzilla Kong. Like, I thought I was coming in to see something dumb but fun, and I think that it's definitely fun, but I think that it's a lot more story. No. It's a lot more story than Godzilla and Kong.
Oh, yeah, yes. I will say it's more story than Godzilla and Kong. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. That's the low bar. Okay. All right. So you recommend it?
I definitely recommend
I say wait for it to come out on streaming. I mean, I know it's this big movie. You got to see it in the cinema, but yeah, it wasn't. It was. You'd be fine to miss it.
See, I feel like I couldn't miss it though. I feel like watching it at home just wouldn't be the same. I feel like.
I mean, look, I enjoyed the original way more than this, and we watched it on a 65-inch screen versus a whatever 300-inch screen, 500-inch screen we just watched it on. Okay, all right, there it is.
All right, let's talk spoilers. All right, so one thing that I wanted to say was that I mentioned this in the previous part, but I said it was really intense. But I think because of that, they were willing to kill people off.
You like that? You like that they killed?
I like
sorry
that
for that.
I felt like they were actually willing to kill characters because.
Yeah, they did it throughout, didn't they? They did it at the opening. They did it at the end.
I feel like that's something movies don't do. They pretend to kill them. Well, they pretend to kill them, and then they'll bring them right back.
Then they bring them back.
But this one didn't. It killed them off for good. And
yeah.
It's right at the very beginning.
It was very jarring at the beginning.
Just kills 3 people. Yeah. 3 of her friends right at the beginning.
I know. I wrote down, I was like, okay, I guess 2 people are dead. And they're like, slash that. 3 people are dead. Her boyfriend just went up and here's the thing. I didn't realize that was like a precursor, like a flashback or a we're going to jump in time here. I thought that was it, which really, I said earlier about them being too young. I was like, at the beginning, I was like, they're really young. So I'm glad at least they got 5 years older, but they weren't 12 anymore when they were out, with all this technology. But okay, they killed people. That's Great.
Yeah, it had way more destruction in this one than the original.
Yeah,
Especially the
they
wide
upped
shots,
the.
just cities just completely decimated.
I did think about that. I was like, that's again that cinematography, right? Earlier, like that's hard to shoot, right? I mean, like you got to recreate. I guess you got to recreate it. I don't know.
I think
Maybe that was
part
CG.
of
You
it's
think it's
part of
CG?
it's probably CG.
Okay, I'm just
And there was a reference to the
naive.
original where she was like talking to her friend who was saying like she was back. She's like, I'm not
I'm
back,
not back.
which was what
Paxton said in that
Paxton
first film.
said.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So then I
Uh,
was like, all right, is she Helen Hunt or is she Bill Paxton? Who is she in this movie?
yeah, I love the fire tornado. The fire tornado was cool.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I thought
great
that
special
was unique.
effects. Yep, yep.
Well done.
Anything else? You want me to hit something?
Yeah.
All right. So I liked. This is what I was talking about earlier. I wanted to save it. The movie screen. I was trying to hint at that, but like when the so that was another nod to the original, right? The drive-in theater. The screen blows up in the drive-in theater. This one, it's in the playhouse, but like when the screen goes out and you're like just looking outside, I thought that was just such a cool visual effect. I did think it was interesting though that all these people who are from Oklahoma and should know about tornadoes decided to park themselves in the tallest structure of the city where when the roof comes down, it's going to kill them. Like it was, I
Yeah.
mean, pieces of the ceiling were crushing down and they're just still scattered in this massive room. I'm like, why aren't these people in the hallway? Why aren't they? Wouldn't you
Yeah.
be lined up where there's like a structural, like piece? You're
Yeah,
just
I
like
thought about that.
in the middle of the room with a ceiling that's 40 feet above your head. Like
Yeah, I
a
thought.
little, and
Yeah.
again, I don't know, like that's probably not, I mean, obviously they were in a theater, but that's got to be some directing choice. Like, okay, this isn't this isn't realistic. There's a lot of it to me that wasn't realistic in that regard, right?
I don't know about a lot of it, but
Okay, so I think, and I'm no expert on tornadoes, but I would think, I'm not saying you have more of a heads up on tornadoes. I know tornadoes just drop, but there's inclement weather. And these people are out playing baseball games. They're having a rodeo. And in 5 seconds, the tornado's on top of them. I'm like, you got to tell me there's a little bit more heads up. I'm not saying, like, I've seen people who are like stuck in a restaurant and a tornado blows through or they're at a drive-in, but like, you know, maybe that's the town idiot. Like, I don't like you got to have, and we're in the 2020s here, right? This film.
yeah.
So like the technology we have instant access to, there's a storm closing in. Like, I would just think you got more of a heads up. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
I
done on that.
I like the ending. The ending where she's going into the tornado and when the theater's blowing up and stuff and it's trying to suck everybody out of the theater and they're like holding on to each
Like his
other.
foot, like he got
Yeah.
his foot. Yeah, I was
I
like,
was yeah,
ah!
like that was like really intense. I was like
Yes.
that was
That had me at the edge of my seat. Again, had they just taken the last quarter of the film,
I like the pool scene too, where they all jumped
we're
into the
huddled into the
pool.
pool. Yeah,
That's where they killed one of the guys off, and when they killed him, immediately I was like, oh, okay, like this is like, all right, this is
yeah.
serious.
This is real, right?
Yeah.
Um, so what am I saying here? The rating. What does that mean? Oh, so again, back on like um, believability. But I'm going to add this. This is one of my favorite lines in the film. He was talking near the end with her, and about how hurt she'd been. And he said, when they're rating tornadoes, it's not really based on the size or the speed. It's the damage that it does. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know at the beginning of the film there was a scale. You remember the little girl in the weather station was like, ooh, and looked at the 5, and it was like high winds. Like it's like a hurricane rating or something. So I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the level of destruction. But I thought that might have been a little unbelievable, but that was still, I thought, a phenomenal line. Because I thought there was so much depth to, like, it's not, like when you start thinking about life in general, like the things that happen to us, it's not always how long it lasts. It's not always on how big of a moment it is. It's the scars it leaves. It's the damage it does to our spirit. And like that's when you're ranking like those moments in your life, to other people it may be like that was not a big deal, that was small, that was like a small tornado, and you're like no, but it left a devastating impact. Oh, like that'll preach, right? That's like
Yeah.
that's yeah, like if I was trying to do a sermon, like there's your sermon right there, that line. It's great. I got one more line I thought that was good. It was the last one, right? Of course, it's the classic line. What's the line? If you feel it,
If you feel it, chase it.
if you feel it, chase it. Again, by the end, I thought the chemistry was good between these two characters. It took so long to get there for me. And that was my biggest complaint about the film.
Yeah.
So,
That's all I got.
there you go.
All right.
Hope you guys enjoy it, whether you see it in the theaters or stream it.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and join us next time as we discuss the latest and hopefully greatest Hollywood has to offer.